Well, good evening, everyone. This is our Tuesday evening call where we do an introduction to Lifewave as a company, our founder, inventor, David Schmidt, and we also talk about this breakthrough historic technology that is changing lives all over the world. So my name is Robin Blank Mascari. I am your host this evening, and it's my pleasure to be with you. I love doing these calls. I love introducing Lifewave to people. Many of you, some of you don't know anything. You're brand new, and this is your very first introduction. So what I'm going to do is give a little history of the company and talk a little bit about our founder. And then we'll get into the technology and open up with the star of the show by having one of our guest doctors on, healthcare practitioners we have on every week. Some are doctors. We have all kinds of people that participate. And this evening we have the magnificent Dr. Barbara Jennings with us tonight. So I'm very happy to have her. So we'll bring her on in just a little bit. So let me get started. And then after that, it's time for you. If you have stories to share, your stories are really, really important, because when someone hears your story, it ignites them to think about someone that they know and love and care about that might be experiencing the same kind of things you are, and that way they can share it with them and improve the quality of their life. Well, every day I love this because I get, people get hope for the future, that it can be even better than the current situation, and we can get younger instead of older. How fun is that? So getting started, and also to mention that we do not diagnose or prescribe. We are not, we are a natural health products company. If you have a health condition, please do consult with your practitioner. Okay, getting started. Who is Lifewave? Lifewave is a company that's been around for 16 years. It was founded by David Schmidt. He is also an inventor, scientist, and he's our CEO. And he founded this company after he had invented a product that was designed on a government contract for the Navy SEALs to support them in staying awake in mini subs without using any chemicals or stimulants. And then, it was very successful, but then 9/11 happened and the government had different priorities. And so David moved on and has chosen the field of network marketing, relationship marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it. We love this profession because it's the best vehicle ever to share something that is so historic and such a breakthrough, because it needs our voices, it needs our stories. And the first phase of the company was the original patch called the Energy Enhancer that was designed to access 500 calories of your body fat to turn it into really, really clean energy. And what was discovered, and I need to learn exactly how it was discovered, that it also enhanced athletic performance, strength, stamina, performance, and reducing of recovery. And one day David got a call from Richard Quick, who was the women's Olympic swim team coach. And he said to David, 6 of my 8 swimmers did their personal best the very first time they used the patches. Our product is in the form of a patch, and it looks like this. I have half the adhesive backing off. And then the word got out in the athletic world, and then it really spread all over the world. It ended up in magazines and newspapers all over the planet. Athletes call this their secret weapon because they feel stronger and they recover quicker and they love it. And that was the beginning of phase 1, which we call the symptom phase. What was noticed was that these patches, the Energy Enhancer patches, also had some mild pain reduction benefit to them. And David tweaked the formula a little bit and created the Icewave patch, which does an amazing job of reducing or even eliminating pain instantly or rapidly, which is very exciting. And then the sleep patch called Silent Night, which is used in hospitals in Europe instead of sleeping medications. Phase 1. Phase 2 is the anti-aging phase. In the anti-aging phase, anti-aging means put the brakes on aging so it doesn't continue. which is very exciting for a lot of people, especially in my age bracket. You know, I'm 97, and putting the brakes on aging is a good thing. Actually, I'll be 67 in a few months. I like to tell people I'm 97, gets a nice chuckle. And in the anti-aging phase, there's the carnosine, the eon, and the glutathione. And we don't talk about the patches tonight. We talk about the star of the show, which is in the regenerative phase, which is the third phase. And David's been researching regenerative science for many, many years. And he researched what is it going to take to regenerate the cells, to make them actually act and behave younger. And that's actually not putting the brakes on aging, but turning back the biological clock. And there's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Lauren Picard, who is a researcher who committed his life in the last 50 years in researching what would it take. What is it? And he discovered this peptide called the copper peptide, GHK-Cu, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. But remember that one because it's crucial. That's the magic behind what we have to offer here. And the X39 patch was born. That is our stem cell activation patch. It does a lot more than that, and we'll get into details in a little while. So that's a little bit about the company's history. We're now in our 16th year as of November, and the company grew. It tripled in growth from 2018 to 2019. And that happened when X39, the stem cell activation patch, was released to the world in January of last year. And the company is continuing to grow very, very rapidly because of this one product. And you're going to learn about that in a minute. Now, the man behind this, David Schmidt, is quite something. He likes to call himself a humble inventor. He has over 100 patents and patent pendings. He loves science, and he's constantly in the laboratory, living in the question of what can we do to enhance the human condition? How can we support people in having an increased quality of life and transform the aging process? So David has invested millions and millions of dollars to prove what he's been creating in the laboratories that validate what he has found. And he said the other day, over 90 clinical studies, and there's more happening all the time, which is very exciting. He likes to be he's a very humble kind of man. Many of us consider him a genius, and he just gives credit where credit is due, which is quite fascinating. And we are privileged to get to share with the world what David has created in his labs. So now what I'd like to do is kind of move into teaching or sharing a little bit, educating you about this technology. It's a beautiful technology called photobiomodulation. Our patches are very safe because nothing enters the body, and the body will never do anything to harm itself. And so what I'd like to do is introduce to you our guest this evening. And she is a chiropractor out of Fort Collins, Colorado, but has a very interesting background as a classical pianist. She also teaches Nia technique, which is a fusion of dance, martial arts, and yoga, mind-body fitness. And she's got 7 children. And she has a functional medicine chiropractor made a huge difference in her life to help her reverse from a severe, situation. And so she loves helping people who are struggling with thyroid conditions, autoimmune conditions, and metabolic issues naturally. She's a chiropractor out of Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Barbara Jennings. There you are.
Hello. Here I am.
Hello. I love your colors.
Thank you.
How beautiful. So Dr. Barbara, you've been involved with Lifewave over a year now, and you've incorporated it into your practice. What got you so excited about Lifewave to want to incorporate it into your practice?
Well, what got me excited about it is how I felt after 5 days of using the X39 patch.
What happened?
I felt better. And to begin with, I didn't feel bad. I have a history of an autoimmune thyroid condition myself. So I had been really severely sick, life-threateningly sick in my late 20s. And so, my recovering from that really is what inspired me to change directions from music and go to chiropractic school and have a functional medicine focus. And so I know how to to keep myself healthy, right? So, but being a business owner and a mother of a blended family of 7 kids, it's a lot of work. And so, I walk the talk. I eat well, I exercise, I take good care of myself. But life catches up with you, and I had just turned 50, and Michelle shared some X39 with me, and she explained that it activates this copper peptide. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of familiar with the copper peptide, and that activates stem cells. And when she said stem cells, I was like, whoa, that really got my attention. And then I decided to try them. And for me, who already was taking lots of the best supplements available, and just taking really good care of myself, for me to go up a level in the sense of well-being, having more energy, and sleeping better, that's really the 3 things I noticed. That kind of untouchable thing of well-being, I felt better that way, and I was sleeping better, and I had noticeably more energy. But it was the kind of energy where I just felt like myself again, like I did literally 20 or 30 years ago. Like I had energy all day long and felt doing things all day long. Felt like doing things. So, that was new, and that got my attention. So I started recommending it to some of my patients, a few who know me well, and I thought would listen and really give it a try. And then I saw, within a month, actually sometimes within a few days, but certainly within the next month of a few patients trying them, the results I saw really got me excited. And I wasn't looking for a new thing to do, because I have enough things to do, but this is just something I literally couldn't not share with people, because it can benefit truly just about anybody.
I agree with you. I feel a sense of responsibility to let people know it exists. So how about we tell people what it is? There's this technology called photobiomodulation, a big mouthful. If you could explain that, and then we'll kind of move into the patch and the copper peptide from there, but I'll guide you along. So what is this
Sure.
technology that's so special, that is so safe and so effective?
Right. So photobiomodulation, for those of you who are new, I always break it down for people. It's really 3 words in one. Photo means light. Bio is the biology of your physical body. And modulation means change. So it's literally light changing your physiology, your physical body. And it works because human beings are designed to be very light sensitive in many, many ways. So we have light that keeps our circadian rhythm going, right? Day and night. And the sunshine in the morning wakes up our wake up chemistry, and the sunset with more infrared light activates our slowing down, getting ready for sleep chemistry. And sunlight during the day that hits our skin causes the chemical reactions of synthesizing vitamin D or making melanin and giving you a suntan. And there are many, many more ways that we are sensitive to light. And sensitive, I just mean it affects us. It affects our physiology. So these patches work by reflecting your own infrared light. Your body heat is infrared light, and it hits the patch, and the patch reflects back into your skin a different frequency of light. And that's really the genius of David Schmidt, is identifying specific frequencies that cause really desirable chemical changes in our bodies. And that's why there are different patches. But this one we're talking about tonight, what it does first is activate the production in your body of more GHK copper peptide. And that all by itself, you know, if the patch did nothing else but that, it would still be awesome. It would still have so many benefits, because more than 4,000 genes in our bodies are affected in a positive way from this copper peptide, right? It turns on good genes. It helps turn off bad genes. You know, they call it rewriting your DNA, because it's helping for optimal gene expression. Excuse me. What else does it do? It's really good for your skin, hair, and nails, right? All of those things are related. So one of the profound benefits of more copper peptide, GHK copper peptide, is that it will also stimulate the production of more stem cells. So anytime you can get more stem cells, good things are going to happen. It is your body's way to repair and regenerate and heal. So I love this, because it's using the most natural thing, which is light, to stimulate your body to do what it can do, what it's supposed to do, totally naturally. You don't need any drugs. You don't need expensive injections. And you can't hurt yourself with these.
That's so beautiful. You just answered so many things I was going to ask. I love it. So we do invite everyone to do your own research on your favorite search engine, or go to pubmed.gov if you're, you know, a practitioner, and use that resource and research GHK-CU. That's the magic behind the X39 patch. It activates that peptide. And as you heard Dr. Barber, she talked about many of the different things. Another one is accelerated wound healing. It's quite dramatic what happens. So I used it after surgery, and my doctor was amazed at how quickly I healed. So it's very exciting. So is there anyone, you said it was safe, Dr. Barbara.
Yes.
Is there anyone who shouldn't use the patches?
Yes, there's a very small number. So people who are on immunosuppressive drugs because of an organ transplant, having more stem cells will actually make your, it helps your immune system. So those people who don't want to have their immune system reject this new organ, they don't really want to improve their immune system. So it's not recommended for those people. It has not been tested in pregnancy. And I think there's one more. Do you remember what it is? It's slipping my mind at the moment.
You know, people that are using chemo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, during chemotherapy. Yes, it's great. It's a great thing to use when you're finished with chemotherapy, but can interfere with its what it's supposed to do during.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier with your patients, Dr. Barber, that some of them noticed responses quickly and some it took some time. Could you address that for people to manage expectations, and also let people know how to maximize the benefit of using the patches?
Yeah, so expectations. I tell everyone, expect to use it to use these patches, right? 12 hours on, 12 hours off for 3 months, right? Give it a good solid 90-day try. I think the vast majority of people do feel or see a change and benefit in a much shorter time. I've had people within hours, in fact, within 1 hour, say it really reduced their pain. I mean, really quickly. But then there are other people who literally didn't notice a single thing until, close to 3 months. So how, there is no way for us to predict who is going to be a quick responder or a slower responder. And I shouldn't say responder, I mean noticer, because if they're on your body, they are working. And our bodies, are infinitely wise, and they are their own best doctor. And our bodies will use stem cells where the body wants them first, second, and third. And that may or may not be in a place where you're going to feel it right away. But, I just say there's two things you really need to have in place, and then know that it's working and just trust it. One is you need to be well hydrated, drink enough water, take trace minerals. And two is what's the other one? It's hydration. Oh, copper. You need to have copper in your diet, because if you don't first make that copper peptide, then it can't and won't stimulate the production of stem cells. So I just tell people, Google, you'll get a great list if you Google foods high in copper, foods that contain copper.
What are a few of them?
Oh, asparagus is on there. Some nuts, Brazil nuts. Cashews might be on there. I love asparagus, so I remember that one really easily.
Is liver one of them?
Yes. Yep. If you want to eat liver, you can actually get like dehydrated liver in capsules if you want to take it that way. It's also a great source of B vitamins. I also tell people, if you can't handle any of the foods, copper containing foods, that's the best way to get it, because copper from the earth that is turned into foods is going to be the easiest for your body to digest and assimilate. But if you're not getting enough of those foods, then you can take it in a supplement.
Okay. So in order to maximize the benefit.
I want to qualify that though, because you don't want to take a copper supplement that just says copper. The element copper, that's actually not good for your brain. So you want to find a copper supplement where it's bound to another, bound to as part of a bigger molecule. So it'll say copper as, copper something longer. So it's just if it's bound to something instead of just plain copper. So sorry, what were you saying, Robin?
No, I don't remember, so it doesn't matter. So I love to open things up for our guests now, and I always love learning from you, and it's always a treat. So we have some people. Yes. We've got someone with their hand up. I think Daniela would like to. Do you have a story to share, Daniela? Let's see. I'm allowing you to talk, so you have to unmute your phone.
Hi there. Hello. Hi. Yeah, so I started a few weeks ago, and I was already impressed right away. I started with the glutathione patch and then the X39, and I felt immediate effects from the glutathione, that my liver started to detoxify. So a day after that, I went to my osteopath, who's an acupuncturist, and he said, "Oh, your liver's doing things." Like, he could see it, and he got all excited. I told him about the X39. And he completely understood what's behind all this, and said, "I'm going to be playing with this." And somebody else was there and shadowing him becoming an osteopath. So I gave him some patches too. He put it on his knee. He found an acupuncture point on his knee because his knees were hurting. And in 1 hour, the pain went away. As he was working on he's a massage therapist, so he was working on somebody who had lower back pain. So he took the patch off his own knee. I don't know if he's supposed to do that, but this is what he did, and stuck it onto the lower back of this patient, and the pain was gone in 15 minutes. And then, so my guy took it off his knee right after an hour, but both knees stopped hurting, and the pain didn't come back for 3 days. Now he came in on as gold. Like he ordered a whole bunch of them. Now he's experimenting. I just talked to him. He's very excited. And I've heard so many stories with with blood sugar going down, that in days of normalizing. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I do have a question. Is there time for that?
Sure. Go ahead, Daniela.
First of all, Dr. Barbara, I am so thrilled because I'm also a NIA teacher. So
Hey.
I love NIA and I teach it. And I don't know if you hear me. I have very bad internet right now.
Yep, I can hear you.
Good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I really relate. I have also Hashimoto's and our NIA connection and functional medicine principles that I use in my work. My question is with two things. One is with the copper. A lot of people eat a lot of supposedly healthy or vegan things that are high in copper, and sometimes they have an imbalance with the zinc copper ratio. And I think perhaps that happened to me as well. So how important is it to to eat those things extra, or if you have a way of finding out what the levels are, then maybe it will still work even with lower levels?
Yeah. So you can definitely cause an imbalance, which is why my first choice is definitely diet.
Right.
Google the foods, get it from foods, and digest your foods well. Use enzymes if you need to, but far and away, eating it in foods is preferred.
Sometimes people have too much copper, so they have to cut down on those foods. But then that would be still okay then, because the person has enough in them, even if they're not eating high copper foods.
Yeah. So you can get too much copper and cause an imbalance, especially with zinc. So you can over supplement. Yes, you don't need tons of supplements.
You just have to have enough, a little, like some in your body. So if somebody has symptoms that they're not sure, they don't have a diagnosis of COVID, but they're having symptoms of, different things going on, should they stop certain patches, like to allow the natural inflammatory reaction to be happening? Or do you have any idea what to do if it goes to a stage of cytokine storm? I'm going through this right now. We haven't been tested yet, but I want to know to be careful.
So if someone is sick, I don't know that you need to stop using any particular patches. I would really go by how you're feeling. The glutathione patch may help. It might it might make you feel worse. The glutathione patch is a very powerful patch.
It is, yes.
And that's one that may need to be used in smaller amounts of time instead of 12 straight hours. But the glutathione patch on your lungs, on your throat, can also be very, very helpful in supporting your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most people can probably use that. The X39, I don't see any reason to not use it if you're sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that's great. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And actually, Dr. Barbara, someone asked, is there a way you can be tested to know what the copper level is, since it's so important?
Sure, you can get a blood test and go with the the reference ranges. As a functional medicine practitioner, I would probably use a more specific, a more narrow reference range than most labs are going to use, but find a functional medicine practitioner near you and you can get that blood work done if you want to.
Great. Well, thank you. And I think Bruce has something he wants to share. Bruce, you're going to have to unmute your phone, and then you should be able to talk.
Yep. Someone pointed out raw cacao chocolate is a great source of copper too. So that's my favorite source.
And it's got to be the good stuff, that doesn't have a lot of sugar and dairy in it, the dark chocolate that is low in sugar. And see here if, okay, Bruce, I think you should be available to speak.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Bruce Almighty here. Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Great info. It just made me think of copper water. You know, it's famous in India. People have a copper container that they put the water in overnight. Is that too direct of a source of copper, do you think, or do you know about that? To drink copper water?
I'm not really familiar with copper water. Elemental copper that is all by itself, not bound to another molecule. That's the one you really need to be careful about. So
Okay.
I don't use copper pots and pans. I don't like copper pipes in my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Another question real quick. Can you share anything that you know about the clinical trials or clinical studies? There's a difference in the two, I guess. And I think there were clinical trials with some previous patches, and there was some info published on that, but has there been clinical trials, or can you share anything on that you know, on the X39?
There have been. There are more in progress right now, as far as I'm aware. Last year and maybe before, David Schmidt had a third party doing a more short-term trial. Robin, jump in if you want to, but if I remember right, it was 6 weeks. Did a 6-week trial, and it was focused on the effects on the brain. Very positive, very encouraging and exciting results with that. Good things happening in your brain from cognition, memory, organization of thought. And as far as I know, there are longer term studies going on right now.
Yes, that was Dr. Chevalier, and it was on cognitive function. So if you know people who are in the baby boomer and beyond phase, to realize that the longer you use X39, it was a pilot study, which means a small study. Now they're doing a double blind because the results were, I mean, David was ecstatic when he saw the results, because usually when you do a pilot study, if you get 30–40% of statistical significance, it's great, but this was 100%. And the longer people used X39, the greater the cognitive functions. And it was memory, mental clarity, reaction time, many different aspects that as people age can make a huge difference in the quality of their life. Because many times when people are older and they have a fall and they break their hip, and that becomes sadly the beginning of the end. But if their reaction time is great, then that can be avoided many times. I'm noticing our time, and I'm noticing the time of year. And Dr. Barbara, I'd love it if you could share a little of your wisdom at this time of year, how people can really take extra good care based on what's going on in the world, based on, the holiday season and the extra consumption of those things that kind of do make a difference in our immune system in the wrong way. So you want to give us some of your wisdom of what you share with some of your patients and how to get through the holidays as healthy as possible.
Right. Well, it's a tough one for lots of people, but the less sugar you eat, the better. Every time you eat refined sugar, it decreases the strength and capacity of your immune system to work effectively. So every time you eat sugar, just remember you're making yourself more prone to infections. So sleep, really, really important. Stay hydrated. Find a way to move. Movement is so important. Still eat your vegetables. Google foods in copper, foods that have high in copper, and work those into your holiday menu.
Want to talk about stress?
Stress. Well, do you want me to talk about some more patches?
Well, just, what people can do at this time of year to manage their stress. Doesn't have to be patches, just in general too.
Yeah. Well, for stress, I think number one is sleeping, right? Get enough sleep. That's, gosh, I can do a 3-hour class on sleep. So number one, really try to sleep. Number 2, breathe. Remember to breathe deeply. Most of us really, really under breathe. We don't oxygenate our bodies enough. Go for walks. And if you can let go of the things you can't control, that's a learning process, but so valuable when you can realize, am I wasting all of this energy being stressed and worrying about something that is really not under my control? And if you believe in a higher power, let that higher power be in charge.
Beautiful, beautiful. Those are beautiful words of wisdom, not just for the holidays, but for all days. Because that's what health is. It's many different dimensions. And when you listen to David Schmidt, the patches do amazing things that help the body come back to homeostasis, but we've got to do our part. And lifestyle is really important. So all those things that Dr. Barbara mentioned are so important of, staying hydrated. It's like keep a drip system close by so you're always dripping on yourself, and I like to say, if your urine is light colored, it's a good thing. If it's too dark, it means you need more water and you need to eat more foods that are, fresh foods. And if it's too light, it means you're either drinking too fast or you drink too much, maybe. There are some people that actually drink too much, aren't there?
Oh yeah, all the time. If you're always thirsty and you drink, if you're drinking a lot all day, you're probably dehydrated and you need more minerals and less water.
Okay, well, we maybe someday we're going to do a talk on sleep and minerals.
Yeah.
We're going to need more time, but I think that might be really wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Barbara, for your time this evening. We always love having you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. It's a powerful time to do some contemplative work, to take some quiet time, to really assess where you are with your health and well-being and what you'd like to have more of in the future. And, Dr. Barbara just gave us some wonderful things, just doing more deep breaths and living in gratitude and getting out and having some nice walks in nature and letting go. I love that. Letting go of the things you don't have control of, because there's plenty going on in the world these days. We don't need more to, spend our time on that we can't control of. And so beautiful. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful holiday season. And if you're a guest this evening, please get back to the person who invited you and know that we have really wonderful programs for customers and for people that like to share, as we call them distributors or members. There's a wonderful opportunity to be compensated if you like to share. I started out as a customer, and because I had a knee that was bothering me, and now there's thousands and thousands of people whose lives have changed because I couldn't not share. And like Dr. Barbara says, there's a sense of responsibility to let people know about this historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Have a wonderful, safe, and very healthy holiday with lots less sugar than ever before.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.